Actual bodily harm, ABH, is a serious offence in many jurisdictions, including the United Kingdom, Australia, and other countries. It is a type of assault that involves causing physical harm to another person, resulting in injuries that go beyond mere bruising or minor scratches. Definition of actual bodily harm. Actual bodily harm is a type of assault that involves intentionally or recklessly causing physical harm to another person. The harm caused must be more than trivial, and the victim must have suffered some form of injury that requires medical attention. The injury can be physical or psychological, and it can range from minor to severe. The definition of actual bodily harm varies slightly depending on the jurisdiction. In the UK, for example, the offence of actual bodily harm is defined under Section 47 of the Offences Against the Person Act, 1861. According to this section, a person is guilty of actual bodily harm if they intentionally or recklessly cause another person to suffer actual bodily harm. Types of injuries that constitute actual bodily harm. The types of injuries that constitute actual bodily harm can vary widely. Some examples of injuries that may be considered actual bodily harm include cuts and lacerations, deep cuts or lacerations that require stitches or other medical attention, broken bones, fractures or broken bones that require medical attention, head injuries that result in concussion, loss of consciousness, or other serious symptoms, burns that cover a significant area of the body or require medical attention, psychological harm such as anxiety, depression, or post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, that results from a physical or emotional assault. Elements of the offence. To prove the offence of actual bodily harm, the prosecution must establish the following elements: intent or recklessness. The defendant must have intentionally or recklessly caused the victim to suffer actual bodily harm. Physical harm. The victim must have suffered physical harm that goes beyond mere bruising or minor scratches. Causation. The defendant's actions must have caused the victim's injuries. Defences to actual bodily harm. There are several defences to the offence of actual bodily harm, including self-defence. The defendant may argue that they were acting in self-defence or defence of another person. Consent. The defendant may argue that the victim consented to the physical contact or harm. Accident. The defendant may argue that the harm was accidental and not intentional or reckless. Penalties for actual bodily harm. The penalties for actual bodily harm vary depending on the jurisdiction and the severity of the offence. In the UK, for example, the maximum penalty for actual bodily harm is 5 years imprisonment. In Australia, the maximum penalty is 10 years imprisonment. Actual bodily harm is a serious offence that involves causing physical harm to another person. The offence is defined by the intentional or reckless causing of physical harm that goes beyond mere bruising or minor scratches. The laws surrounding actual bodily harm vary depending on the jurisdiction, but the penalties can be severe. It is essential to understand the concept of actual bodily harm and the laws surrounding it to ensure that individuals are held accountable for their actions.